afternoon, everybody. Hope you're having an amazing day. It is Rob. Let's go ahead and make sure you all can hear me. If you please type the number 1 in the chat box, let me know that you can. Thank you, Jeff. I'd greatly appreciate it. Oh, there we go, Trader Will. 12. Oh, fantastic. Hey, John, afternoon. Charles, afternoon. Robert, good to see you, sir. All right. So I have some news. Let me find it because I did it already. Thanks, Leah. I appreciate it. Yep, I'll get that on in a second. So I am flying into Chicago O'Hare and land at 6 o'clock on the 17th of October. All right, so anybody that's in that area that wants to grab dinner that night, just got to send an email into the office. Let me know. Robert, does that work for you? The 17th, like I said, I land at 6:07. The hotel I'm staying at is 5 minutes. They said if there was a street, you could walk it to their hotel, to their the hotel by their office. Yep, I gotta get camera on. Thank you for that, Lee. Appreciate it. All right, video. All right, I just booked the tickets. Not AM, PM. That's correct, Robert. I'm not coming in at 6 a.m. anywhere I'm going to land. Nope. I'm good. I'm good. All right. So as we get started here, keep in mind everything we look at is for educational purposes. Nothing's meant to be advice or recommendations. If you like something you see here, anything, make sure it fits your own personal risk profile and risk tolerance before ever taking on a trade, a setup, or the indicator. Robert, I don't. Yeah, it's O'Hare. Kevin, it's at O'Hare. I don't have the hotel yet. I just know the office of the place is 5 minutes away. I need to see what hotel they recommend staying at. I think this company that I'm going to see has a shuttle back and forth. So I just need to find that out, which I will be doing that tomorrow. Today is Monday and that ain't happening. So it is O'Hare. So it's on the 17th of October. Not September, of course. 17th of October. And O'Hare, I land about 6 p.m. So that's what I'm looking at. All right. So we have a lot on the docket here, folks. Inner Circle coming up tomorrow night. Tonight, sorry, that's 9/11. Mastering the Trade is tonight. For everybody that's in power option plays, you already would have been registered for it, or should be registered for it shortly, if not. And that is for everybody that, this evening. We're going to go over some great content there. Make sure you bring your questions. Mastermind is tomorrow night. Monster Market Moves on the 13th. Let's see. Pop, covered call, E-mini, Vegas spread all on their regular schedule. As our Power Hour and Training Coaches Playbook, no holiday today, this Monday. And then Stop the BS. How to become a successful trader. It's a new training that I put together. I put some final touches on the manual over the weekend. I shared it with my team today, and they were in awe with some of the pieces that I put in there and what I'm going to be teaching. So I've got 4 of those coming up, the 12th and the 14th this week. 18 and 20 are next week. Lee just dropped that link in there. Don't wait. Don't think about it. Don't pass go. Don't collect $200. Just click on the link. Register now. All right. We do have limited space in these events. I haven't taught a free event like this in a long time. So I expect we're going to have very large groups in there. And we do limit the number of people that we allow to register. We know some are going to show up, but we just can't have 200 people or 500 people or 1,000 people allowed in the room, and we let 5,000 people register. You can't do that. All right. So go ahead and get self-registered early. Here's our follow us page. Make sure you're checking all of these pages out, folks. Particularly, make sure you're looking at tradinglikeaboss.com. That is where all of our free content is, including the same link that Lee sent you. There's an icon that you can click on there and register for that training as well, right in there. Right, here's our Trading Boss Manifesto. You should start reading it. You should, put as much of it as you can into your memory of this is what it is for you, not me, not you, to be a trading boss, right? We spent a lot of time developing this. It's our community. That's really what it comes down to. right? And then stop the BS, right? Cut out the noise, gain confidence, embark on a journey to financial success, right? So free class, register here. All right. I thought that's what it was. So let's go ahead and take a look at some trades. What trades have you done today? I've only done one. I'm going to share mine at the very end. What trades have you done? Drop those trades in. In the meantime, I'm going to jump over on this trade that Amelia did. She had multiple exits on this trade. So she bought 5 contracts of the IWM. And I believe this is their Hakanashi scalping trade. Trip, if you're in the room, if you could let me know that. Yep, you are in here. If you could let me know that, that would be great. So she entered 5 contracts of IWM. She got in at 9:47 this morning. At 9:52, she was out of 3 of them at $1.27. At 10:01, call it 10:02. She was out of her next one at $1.52, and then she got stopped out at the last one. You can see up here at $1.42. All right. So overall, great setup. You know, the anatomy of a trade is what she calls it. 16% in 24 minutes, folks. It's not too shabby. 16% in 24 minutes. Let's see. John said, Wheel of Fortune, Roku, Naked Puts, Boyle, BRKB, Iron Condor on the rut, cash flow $1,900. You're kicking it up, John. Great job. Trip said, yes, we did several scalps this morning, and this was a scalp. You know, I know, listen, guys, I know a lot of you we've talked about Mastermind Group before and or Inner Circle. This Hakanashi trade that we're talking about comes out of a trading room that Amelia and Trip, they're really co-hosting there. They kind of run that room of what's going on in there, right? And when I say they run it, everybody in there has microphone, camera if they want on, access to talk, whatever. It's an open mic system. You have something you want to teach, talk about, ask questions. That's what it's there for. But this is a trade that they've been trading very, very consistently in that room and doing extremely well with it, right? All paper trades, of course. That's all we talk about is non-funded trades. So if you have any interest in learning more about that, then you should reach out to the office, send an email to support and say, hey, I want to learn more about these. How do I, get involved with some of this stuff? And we'll be glad to get you some details on it to see where you might belong. Charles said, I wanted to say thank you for LPLA. The other day made $3 a contract. Nice. Great. Charles, that's awesome. That's on Trade with Rob, correct? That was one of them, Trade with Rob, I believe. That is awesome. Yep. So guys, Lee, drop that link in for Trade with Rob if you would. Every one of you should be on that mailing list on our email list that we send out that shows you that these trades are done. Meaning the video is done, it's published, it's up there. We tell you exactly when it's out, so you're not going back and refreshing and trying to find out when we finally get it up there for today. Was it at 4:30, at 6:30? But we send an email out when it gets completed and published. This was on Friday, Charles said. Good. So I did it Thursday for Friday. Because I don't normally do them on Friday for Monday. A little far away. And realistically, by the time 4 o'clock comes on a Friday, I'm done. I've had enough market. It's time to walk away and just decompress a little bit, woodworking or gardening or something, just anything that's not market related. All right. So, but check it out, folks. It's a free video that I send, 2, 3, 4 times a week, whenever I can. Let's see. PK said, took the pop trades, even though there were several gaps for the following pop rolls. Tesla up $245. We're going to talk Tesla in a minute, PK. Roku, $110. Still in AMD SPY gap fill, $186. Still in AMD, sorry. Still in AMD. SPY gap fill, $186. So we're talking about just from power option plays today. We're going to round it. 250, 360, 460, plus 80, 480, 540, 550, 550 bucks ish, 525, 550. Today alone. So great job on that, PK. I love it. Absolutely love it. Good. Cool. All right. So I want to go over and take a look at one of my favorite companies, top 3. It's in my top 3, has been for a long time. And that is Tesla. Again, with this guy, Tesla, really. I mean, we just keep talking. So expensive. Why would you trade that thing? You know what? It's not. And I'm going to show you exactly what's going on. So Tesla comes out, or news came out from a brokerage firm, I think it was JP or Morgan Stanley, it was one of those, came out and said that they're going to be the first one to truly put AI into their vehicles, and they're going to go through the root because of it, and blah, 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 blah. Well, they gapped up on the news. You could see, if we really bring it in, you can see where it gapped up to, right here. And then it stretched down to that 261.57. Well, the question is, what did the entry look like? Or what did the potential, not entry, but the potential entry look like? What did the candle do? When we gapped up, we had a pullback in there somewhere. Now, you can't tell from one candle. We could have ran up. You could have ran all the way up to here, pulled back, and ran back up again. I need to see inside that candle, that daily candle. We go to the shorter term, 5 minutes, right? And I want to look at it. So actually, it was 261.57. Okay, I already have a line drawn at 261.57. So what in the world happened? Let me grab a drawing tool from here. I didn't open mine up today, sorry. Let's get white. Okay, so there's the gap up right there. See, even there, white's not white. There's the gap up, right? And we had a nice pullback and we closed just below. Third candle, the first green candle, we pop and we close just above. And then what do? The next candle, we stretch back, not all the way, but pretty darn close. Right? Let's see. We get to a low of 261.65. So 65 to 57, 8 cents. We're 8 cents away on that fourth candle and we bounce. We move up to a high of 263.09. So about $1.50-ish, just shy of that 140, move up above our support level. Fantastic. We did get a quick pullback in there. And the really cool thing was, if you missed it here, you had this bounce off of the 8 confluence even of that 261.57 and a nice propulsion upward of Tesla. Now, this is a 1 minute candle, right? We're going to go back to a 5. Not a 54, but a 5. Okay, there we go. Let me clear those drawings up there now. All right, so good move up. It pulled back to the moving average, never violated, never broke, never did nothing, right? And then I know I can, 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 I know I can. And they're up right now, $23.15 on the day, right? If we go back inside of here, this was at 9:34, right? So if we go back and look at a 1 minute candle, okay? We go back and look at 9:34. That closing candle right there, 9:34, okay? That candle right there was the entry. You had a little bit of a pullback, as we said, but this is the option now. This is the stock, not the option, the stock, right? The 260 calls rocked. That's the 260 call. And I'm not looking at the dip in here. I'm not looking at the pricing of the option, the price of the dip over here. I'm looking at the stock. I am following what the stock is doing, not what the options price is doing. It's the stock price. But we're talking about, at that time of day, we were at just under $8. I think that candle was a high of 8. Yeah, high of $8 is what I saw. I think I got in about 790. And right now, we're sitting at 1385, call it 1390. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, $6. If you took this trade and you were still in it, you're up about $6 on your option right now. It's trading at 1385 by 1395. So it's only a 10-cent bid-ask spread. So $7, $8 was $8 an expensive option on a Monday. On a Monday. Remember that. This is Tesla. The option was bought today for this week. So there's a whole week of time left in that option, and it's only $8. That's it. Just $8. We've got 85,000 volume on that option so far today. 45,000 open interest, 85,000 volume. Right? Great. Look at the volume overall. I mean, we've had some great 85,000 contracts here, the 265s. Right? Overall, really nice, strong volume on multiple strike prices there. Even good one, good volume on puts. Let's see. So 77,000 contracts on the same 260s on puts with 16,000 open interest. So that was all I did, and I'm okay with that. One trade, JOT, just one trade, right? You don't need to have multiple contracts, multiple trades. Just pick one, right? Get really good at one stock, one contract. I've got three mains: Tesla, Nvidia, and Netflix. Those are the three primaries. All right, very good. I appreciate those of you that did put in your trades. Those of you that did not, or even those that did, if you want to, by all means, give some kudos for those that did, right? Thumbs up, give me a yes, congrats, whatever it is. A lot of great trades have gone off here today. It's not just what we do here, it's teaching you how to do this as well, right? The whole idea of me asking you, what did you guys do? Listen, it's not like I remember, ooh, this person is doing. It's not what it is, right? It's all about accountability. It's helping to make you to hold you accountable for the trades that you want to be putting in and or should be putting in, right? So it's your accountability of, yep, I know Rob's going to ask. It's Monday, so let me get some trades off today. They're all non-funded. That's okay. Congrats to Albrecht that said no trades yet today. Yeah, and listen, there are plenty of days that I go through that. Can't find one, can't find the time to get to a computer even to place a trade, to even look at the market sometimes, okay? Excellent. All right, let's go ahead and shift gears. I want to go and look at the S&P 500. All right, 9/11. You all know today, so a little bit of a sadness in the market, and just globally, just across the country, for the families and loved ones out there. I mean, I remember we did not lose any family members, but we had 7 people in our church that passed from 9/11. So a lot of Wall Street types were there. So when we look at the bigger picture on our fibs, you can see our 4181 line right down here. Okay, good strong move up. We got a nice pop there. We finally broke. We pushed back into what was an old support, became a new resistance. All right, and then we failed off of there and we bounced. Now we are in a very, for those of you that know New York, there's an expressway here. They lie, it's not. I mean, it's not an expressway. There's no express ever. It is called the Long Island Expressway. Those that live here or know anything about it, the nickname is the largest parking lot in the world, right? I don't care if it's 4 in the morning, you're going to sit in traffic on that road. It just seems that, the traffic gods are out and demons are out and they're going to make you do everything they can, they're going to do to you to make you get into traffic there. Okay. Well, that's kind of what's going on here. When we step in on this, you've got the 4495 level, the 4500 level to the upside, the 8, the 21, and then the 4448 level right there. I mean, we've got a lot of lines inside of here, right? The signs everywhere there's signs. Well, it's lines everywhere there's lines, right? These are all roadblocks. They're all annoyances. They're stuff that's fallen down. We got to get up and move it ourselves or be very cautious driving around it and so forth. So I am not a big fan of location right now for the S&P. We are in a bullish bias, and it is a true bullish bias, right? All 3 moving averages are in the right order. The 8 is pinching down a little bit. Today's gap up was big. The black candle is because we're lower on the current price right now than we were on the open. So we're a little bit lower than we were on the open, but we're still greater by 1880 from yesterday or Friday's close. Right, from Friday's closing price. So when we look at a bigger time frame, if we look at weekly, we got out of this uptrend in here, and it looks like we almost might be starting another uptrend. Now watch this. If we duplicate this line, So that looks pretty close. So my angle, you see, they're about the same dollar amount. Just a straight up line doesn't make a difference. So you can't draw these at an angle. If you draw this one diagonally, you're not going to have an accurate number. All right, because you can wind up in different places. You want to make it a perfectly straight line, square, whatever you want to call it. Okay. So right now we're about $219 straight up is the move. That's what it is down here. And although we did not play off of it perfectly, you can see that we've moved down and it's respected it. This uptrend has respected it for the last 5 weeks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 4 weeks. Today doesn't really count. The last candle is just that, today. So there's not much in there just yet, right? It's just one day. So overall, definitely some strength in the market after this pullback, but we really need to press above that 4607 level. If we look at a monthly chart, I've got the same double set of lines on there, and the monthly has played nicely into that level. Right, so if you look here, we don't have a candle yet for today on the monthly. Yeah, this is still Friday. We don't have a candle yet for today on this. Right here, this is actually, yeah, 9/15 closing week. So that's the weekly is right there. Okay. So overall, when we look, we've got some strength going in the monthly after that pullback. Last month was a mid-month, was a bad month. On a daily chart, we're okay with the move to the upside. But there are some warning signs, concerns, newsy type things, just things to be aware of, cognizant of, things to say, hold on a second now, are you sure you want to do this? All right. And we'll get into those in just a little bit. All right. So S&P 500, overall, my bias right now is bullish. I'm a rank of 3. I'm in the middle of nowhere. We were a neutral yesterday with a rank of 2. But neutral doesn't help me much. Bullish does, but we're in the middle. It doesn't matter. I don't have a clear place to work off of. I can go off of individual stocks, but my market or the market is not really playing along nicely at all. Okay. I mean, just not at all. Period. All right. We look at VIX. VIX is, still in the yellow zone. Yellow goes all the way down to 0. I can't go any lower than that. Right? Can't go any lower than 0. We're in the middle. We're on the low zone. We're in yellow, not red, which is way up there. And our red is way up here. All right, but overall, we're sitting at $13.97, call it $14. I mean, we've got to go all the way back here to February of 2020 to find those levels. Back in there. And if we push to that next one, we've got to be in that same range. But we were at that 12 and jingle level for a long time. You can see we played there for over a year. Right. So very, 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 very excited for that. Now, as a seller, though, it makes it more complicated as a seller to try to get good premiums. So I would rather be in the green zone, somewhere between that 18 and 29. I'd prefer to be closer to the 18, 20. That's what I would prefer. But in the green, it's still, anywhere in the green, it's still not bad as far as pricing goes. You start getting in red and pricing gets a little sketchy. Definitely on the overpriced side. Okay. All right. watch the warning signs from Wall Street, right? Are there signs, signals, things that are out there that you should be focused on and paying attention to? And the answer is yes, right? Like what? No autocorrect or no spell checking on Notepad. So if something is off, my bad. Not really much I can do with it. All right. Unless I see it, you can tell me and I'll fix it. But if you can read it, I guess I don't really care. As long as you can read what I wrote, which is why we're doing it here instead of me writing it by hand. All right. So what about Labor Day? Right. I just had this conversation with a family member this week. And the expression sell in May and go away. And they asked, what does it represent? Basically, May comes around before Memorial Day, get out of your stocks, go to cash, go away, come back in September. So there's an expectation right now of more movement, more activity because traders are coming back into the market, right? You have October window dressing. What is that? You've got mutual fund managers who are, very heavily overweighted in Billy Bob's screen door repair and bubblegum manufacturer. Not something they want their shareholders to look at a report and say, what the heck are they investing in? So come that time of year, we're getting close, they go ahead and divest all of those stocks and they go buy the Apples and the Amazons and the Microsofts of the world. So they can say, oh, look at us, we own all of these stocks. Except they didn't make the 38% that they did for the year so far on Microsoft and whomever, right? They made it on Billy Bob Joe's screen door repair and bubblegum manufacturing machine, company, and ones like that. Exactly, Robert. It's a bait and switch. So what they do is the hedge fund managers or mutual fund managers sell off those stocks and go ahead and buy more of the blue chip stocks. So you're going to get a little bit of a pop on blue chips. Right? You have the Santa Claus rally. It's EY or Y, whatever, doesn't matter. Okay. The Santa Claus rally, right? As we start to get into the holidays, we get into Christmas time, Christmas to New Year's, you get a little bit of a bump, small, but a little bit of a bump in the marketplace. Okay. We still have the war going on. Right? Still a real thing. You got oil. Let's say oil pricing. Right? Oil pricing right now, I just saw it on the screen a little bit ago. It just showed me that Brent is up today, but I'm not seeing what it was. But I think it was $85 or $86 right now for a barrel. Right? Great for producers, wonderful for producers. Right? Great for stock shareholders, not so much for a consumer. We're anywhere between 358 is the lowest low I've seen here if you pay by cash. Which for some of you, the vehicles you're driving, you need to get an armored car to go and pay for gas. Okay. Oh, I'm not there yet, Robert. I will. Absolutely. But all the way up to about 386, 387, somewhere around that I've seen. Right. I fully expect come mid-year next year, we're going to see $4.50 in gas. I think we wind up with a little bit of a colder winter this year. And I think heating oil prices are going to pay the price, the brunt of it. But I still believe we're going to have a decent jump in oil pricing. Okay. Regardless of who's the seated president or not. You could, if you remember, Biden went to OPEC and said, hey, can you just hold off on raising prices until next month or whatever it was? Not raising prices, well, ultimately, but cutting back on production. And they were like, no, we're not waiting. You don't control OPEC. You're the leader of the free world, right? We ain't free. We're a group of individual business owners that are going to make a decision what's best for our business, not for yours. So I fully expect come mid next year, we're going to be at $4.50 a gallon for gas. That's my projection, if you would. Okay. So oil pricing, right? The deficit. DEF, right? Deficit. Those three dots mean is it, all right? The three dots. Oh, no, you can look it up in the dictionary. It's there. If deficit, right? Is it, right? The three dots are is it, the deficit. Okay. There's a lot of concern out there. I mean, listen, it really doesn't matter, Republican, Democrat, it makes no difference, right? One of my favorite of all time jokes is, what do you call 100 politicians at the bottom of the sea? A good start, right? They all belong there, every one of them. Yeah, it might have been a quick pro with OPEC there, Robert, but they didn't get what they wanted because they didn't cave at all, and listen, bottom line is we've got the capability of producing our own oil. I think if the Republicans win, no matter who the leader is, who wins from the Republican side, I think you see oil production come back again. You'll see a drastic drop in oil prices, which, by the way, if we can get oil prices back down again into those 30s and 40s again, we get oil prices back down there again, guess what? Everything else goes down in price as well, because the cost of many items is because of the petroleum that's used to either make it or built into it, used in it. Right. So, right. So you have the economy. Right. I saw something the other night that talked about the belief of is the president doing a good job? Is he doing a bad job? Really low numbers. I know every president gets low numbers. Again, I'm not here to talk politics with it. That's not it. Okay. But every one of these things affects what's going on. Right. Is the president competent? Right, to rule the free world? Is he even the Democrats' choice, the party choice to move forward? Right, I hear it on both sides of yes and no, and the no's are no, but what are we going to do if he wants to run? What are we going to do? Say you can't run now? There may be some factors that will help in that area, right? With the head, but right, and there you go, Trip. Congress with their age, I think there needs to be max term limits on Congress. I think this is insane. It becomes a lifetime job. Absolutely not, right? Should not be there. When you look at economic reports, Trip, type this one in. Right? And they are red. And what I'm talking about is on Forex Factory. You see they're red. Short term, but you need to be focused on those, right? And a lot of those are looking at what's going on with the economy just generally, right? Interest rates, right? Banks, lending, or not, right? We have a friend. Actually, yesterday, there was a party at my house. We weren't invited. Well, I was invited. I was invited to make the homemade pizza, which we couldn't do because it was raining yesterday and we couldn't barbecue outside. So they had to order pizza, which is fine. But it was my oldest daughter had some of her friends over to ask them to be in her bridal party. One of the girls, 29, one of the women that were there is getting married shortly. My daughter's in her wedding. She asked this girl to be in her wedding now. And her fiance are looking for a house. They have been in contract for 9 months, and the bank is dragging their freaking feet to give them a loan. Right? Dragging their feet terribly. Are they making loans, banks? Yes. You don't need the cash. You don't need money. You can go buy your house, 3 times over in cash. The bank is more than happy to lend it to you. But someone that's kind of, I don't know, right? And then I think one of the biggest concerns in the market that some of you may know about, others do not. Zillow. Can anybody tell me why Zillow needs to be a concern? What is it about Zillow that they're a concern? What about it, Karen? Yes, but what about it? They do report on real estate, Barry. There's actually a lot of things happening with them that is shaky stuff. Yeah. Yeah, Robert, I think their rate is expired. Their rate lock is expired. Unless the interest rates keep going up, they will make more if they drag it out. You're right. Yes, Kevin, that's what it is. That's what I'm looking for. Right, PK, you're on the right track. You're exactly there. You knew there was something about it. Right? Here's where my concern is. 2008, can somebody tell me what was it? One word, what was it that crashed the market? And I say it all the time, is this debacle. Right. There you go, Robert. I say the housing debacle. Robert put in housing bubble. Okay. Mortgages, housing, all of it. Why? Right? They grab somebody making, a married couple or two people buying a home together, and they're making $120,000 a year between them. They put them into a loan that they had to pay, $3,800 a month. They nowhere near had that kind of money. And by the way, there was no money down on it, 0% rate down. They put them into a balloon mortgage. So they were paying just on interest payments right now, so they could afford it. And then if interest rates went up, right, then what happened? And they got in trouble because they couldn't afford it at 3%. What's going to happen at 5 and 6 and 7%? There's no way they could ever afford it. Well, Zillow, 2008 housing, right? Zillow is now offering 1% down payment loans. 1%. I'm sorry, you ain't got enough skin in the game at 1%. You don't. Okay, I got a $100,000 house, and which my cousin's daughter is a realtor in Georgia, not St. Simons. Can't remember the town. Her uncle, those of you that have been to some of the New York events, you might remember Adam, bigger guy sitting in the front of the room. He's my cousin's daughter's husband. Adam bought a house from her, 85 grand. Okay, bought it, fixed it, flipped it, right? So he was telling my daughter this weekend they saw him, or this week they saw him. Okay. Well, if I got a $100,000 house, my point was you can get property for that cheap stuff. If I got a $100,000 house, I got to put $1,000 down, and my world goes topsy-turvy. All right, crap, keep my $1,000. I don't care. Done. Walk away. I got 20% in there, 20 grand. Man, I'm not walking away from 20 grand. Right? I'm going to fight. I'm going to try to sell the house. It's too small of an amount. People don't have enough risk factor in there for me to say, yeah, it's good. It's really not good. I mean, at all. Everyone should own a house, right, Robert? Of course. Man walked on my sale, and my house did not sell for 6 years in 2008. There you go, Les. Yeah, 120% loan to value. There, Robert, I remember those. The bad loans kick in. Should we buy puts on Zillow? So, that's not Zillow's only thing. Guys, one of the biggest increases of pricing in the US has been in Florida, right? Zillow sees what's happening. They see what people put up for sale. They know what it goes for sale for. They have all of that data. So Zillow stepped in some of the areas that we're looking at down in Florida, and had stepped in and started buying properties up in, neighborhoods. buying neighborhoods up, and then buying a house for $129,000, 30 of them in the neighborhood, and now listing all of them for 220. They've got the monopoly, the corner on the market, right? Zillow's a shaky type of company. If they're doing things like this, it's a little bit concerning. Okay, it's a little bit concerning. The 1% down payment, they've been very vocal about it. I've seen that advertised, or I've seen talk of that 5 or 6 times already in the last 2 weeks. Risky loans, actually better terms. Diane said rents, car loans, and student loans are all the issue now too. Yeah, there's student debt. Guys, listen, I understand that people can't afford to live. They're just being absorbed by student debt. And I do believe that anybody that cannot afford to pay for schooling should never go to anything other than a community college and get your degree, community, state, university, your state, not somewhere else, not living there. None of that should exist to me. All right, because that's the best way you will ever go about coming out with zero debt from there. Hey, we're just going to forgive student loans, and for how long it hasn't paid, they haven't had to pay on student debt, student loans. Yes, it's helpful for that small handful, but I don't know if you realize it. I bet many do. Some may not. Someone's still got to pay it. Oh, the government's paying it. Where do they get it from? They hit the print button? Yeah, but all that means is we got to pay more in taxes. Oh, but not me. Only the rich are getting taxed. No, they're not. Guys, get this through your head. Only those are making over $400,000. I heard that same stupid thing again on CNBC today. If any of you ride a train in New York City, no, I'll give you a better one. If anybody smokes a pack of cigarettes, I think they raised the taxes on it now, where the average pack is like, I heard $20 for a pack of cigarettes in New York. My dad used to buy an entire carton for that when I was a kid, right? $22 or $18 or something like that. Those taxes have gone up, and who's paying them? The poor, just like everybody else. And it's not just taxes. Because of what's happened, and the government has to print more money, and the deficit we've gone into, everything has gone up. Everything. Which means those that couldn't afford it before, really, yeah, you got a raise. Your boss maybe finally stepped up and gave you a better raise. You didn't get a 3%, you got an 8 or 10%. You matched what was going on with inflation rate, and that's great. But how many things have gone up more than that? I went to a pizzeria over the weekend with a friend. We walked in just to grab a slice real quick. I got a slice of Sicilian. I paid $3.50. I turned around to my buddy and said, I remember as a kid in grammar school, I went to a Catholic grammar school. Right across the street from our school was a pizzeria. I remember in that pizzeria, it was 25 cents for a regular slice and 35 cents for a Sicilian. Now, granted, you're talking 50 years ago, but you're talking 10 times the price increase. 10 times, right? Go back and look at what pizza was pre-COVID compared to now. You'll have a good, not all of it, but a good majority of that came in the last 3 years on those price increases. Why? The guy that owns the pizzeria by us is very clear about it. He goes, Rob, I can't even afford to buy good cheese anymore if I want to sell at the same price. I got to buy this garbage cheese if I want to keep it at this price of where it was. And still, my profit is almost nothing. So everything's gone up. Everybody's paying for it. Everybody's paying for it. Yeah, AIG, the lenders, you got it, Karen. That's it. Robert said, get an education in a profession that you'll be able to pay your student debt back with. And again, listen, I know things happen. Don't get me wrong. Life situations change. There could have been a death in the family, whatever it was, right? Spouse was the major earner. Maybe the mom stayed at home and took care of the kids. The dad passes away, and now the mom's got all the student debt, and she's taking care of kids and can't work. I get that that's going to happen, but that's not what the majority of student debt is, right? Go ahead and tell me that, okay, anybody that's gone and changed their major 3 times and has more than 4 years of debt that they've consumed, maybe at that point we don't pay up for all of that, or they're excluded from it, or so forth. and listen, I'm not trying to, I'm trying to generate ideas. I'm not here to poo-poo anything. Listen, if the government says you're going to get it for free, you get it for free, and there's nothing we're going to do, right? It doesn't seem that that's what's going to happen, but all of these things are warning signs. They're all things that are going on out there, and it's just, it's a linchpin, right? It's that one pin, right, or a keystone. If you take a building, right, if you were to design, and I am not going to be very good at doing this, by the way, but we probably should change from white. Let's see. Okay. So if you look at an archway, all right, if you look at an archway, at the top of the archway, right, you got all your stones in the archway that are kind of like this, right? And then each one is a stone going up and it's stacking up. You notice we're starting to take that curve. Well, by the time we get up here, some of those stones have been cut already, right? And then you get up to the middle and you have this stone here, and it's called a keystone, right? And then, of course, this becomes the outer archway, right? That keystone is the guts of everything. It holds all of it together. It can't fall through, right? But take the keystone out and the entire thing collapses, right? And right now or linchpin or whatever you want to call it, there's one thing, we're just waiting for one more pin to get pulled and things to collapse, right? I don't know if or when it ever happens. Does China decide to go take over Taiwan, right? How bad is it if Russia does ultimately take control of Ukraine, right? How bad is it if we just continue the war as is and the drain on the US and so many other countries of we're not buying Russian oil any longer? It's an absolute sin that we're not buying Russian Baltic birch plywood. That's just personal, okay? That I can't get my hands on it. You can. See, Russia is selling it to China. China's saying they grow it, which they're not that much of it, and they're selling it back out at ridiculous prices. Car loans, yeah, car prices are ridiculous. Exactly. Community college is already free in Tennessee, also with all but a guaranteed job afterwards, if not during. Wow, nice. Yeah. You can't take a degree in underwater basket weaving, Robert said, and expect to pay your student debt off. Listen, again, I realize that, things happen. So I don't want to do that. Clear this off. That things happen, right? It's no different than government assistance. I think it's required. It just shouldn't be hey, everybody gets government assistance for this, right? Here's, food stamps or whatever. I think there has to be reasons in where it gets controlled of who does get access to that and so forth. Now, don't get me wrong. I bet some, if they were told, hey, you qualify for food stamps, you want it, man, I'll take them. I'll take them. Yeah, absolutely. We can use the money, right? We personally could qualify for food stamps because I don't have income the way that the average person has income, right? I have a lot of passive income. I have a lot of entities, right? Business owners, many are in a different place. Right. And I'm not talking one entity business owner. That's okay. And I'm not talking about sole proprietor partnerships. Those are businesses. The government, the IRS can track what you're doing, which you can with every business. They know that you're registered as a business, is what I mean. But when you are a corporation, an LLC, or a combination of multiple, there are ways legally to do things to help your business and help you with taxes. That's why learning to do this the right way is critical. Let's see. Yeah, well, there you go. Unemployment, COVID shutdown, paying people to stay home. I just saw, I didn't know the company name, but they forced a mandatory comeback to work, and half their workforce, 186 people, quit. They sent resignations via online. Via email. Like, nope, I quit. I'm done. So who was it? Amazon? I don't know if it was Amazon, but I did see something where they published a report that said, hey, listen, I understand if you don't want to come back to work, then this may just not be the place for you. Right. So yeah, no, it wasn't Amazon, Robert. That was an Amazon thing, yes. But the one I just saw, over the weekend. I was reading it to my wife. I saw it come across my social platform feed. I was reading it to my wife that it was not freebie, but something like that. It was 168 people. I think it was 186 quit. They said it was 50% of the workforce. Okay. And I get it that some companies, we have people work from home all over the world, literally all over the world, right? It works well for us. For some, it just doesn't. Okay. So when you look at warning signs, there's a lot out there from Wall Street. You've got to look at volume on stocks, on what's traded in there. You've got to focus on the news that's coming out. If you are an investor, I think it's a tougher time as an investor because of some of the uncertainties right now, the ups and downs, the ins and outs. We really have to be cautious with that right now. All right, with investing. I'm talking about you're buying and holding for 10 years, right? The Warren Buffett investing model. Okay, I think you are, going to find some nice runs, and then you've got to make a decision of do you plan to keep it or exit out of that trade, take your profit, and move into something else. Okay, so there you have it. All right, let's wrap this up with the stocks you want me to take a look at. Go ahead and start throwing those out in the chat box. Let me shift this over to all symbols. And listen, folks, I know that this can be a tough topic, right? I probably touched on some sensitive areas for people, right? And that's okay, right? Again, what was this about? Awareness. That's all it is. It's all it is. It's all about awareness, right? Making sure that you know the things to be looking for as you're stepping into the market, making decisions, especially since so many people here. You'll have someone that sits with 50 grand in an account and they have not traded in 6 months. And all of a sudden they make a decision today, it's time to get in. And they drop 10 or 15 grand today, they put in the market. They put another 15 or 20 grand over the next day or two, 3, right? And then they put another 2. And all of a sudden they're 50 grand in the market. And now the market shifts drastically on its heels, right? And they're underwater 15% of their portfolio because of how they did it, right? And what they did. So it's a matter of making sure you're aware of what to be looking for. All right, what do we got here? LPLA. You really like that one, Charles, huh? LPLA. Hot dang. So if we can get a pullback to the 240.99, Charles, I would not mind a bounce off of there, of that 240.99. Let me see. I got to make this a little bit bigger. All right, $11 is the Fibit, 40, 51, 52. Nope. All right, so we need to add a negative. We need to add actually a 136 in here and a 118. Oh no, wait, I'm on the wrong side. Wrong end. We need to put an 882. All right, so good. So we're looking at 249 as resistance. We're looking to bounce off the 241. If it breaks support, you got some room down at 237.5, but it's not a lot. So I'd be a little more careful about taking this to the downside there. Right? So I do still like them though a lot, especially with today's moves. CMG. Chipotle Mexican Grill. Give today's candle a second to, oh, it's actually there. All right. So we're showing weakness here. 1, 2, 3, 4, now 5 days off of that 1958 level. You got the 21 right below, so it's a little tougher. But if you take the move down below the 8, that 8 is at 1938. The 21 is at 1924, 25. So you're talking about 13 points to the downside. I would be careful. I would much rather see a move up off the 1958 retest and bounce with 2000 as a target. All right, Charles, I hope that helps. Let me know in the comments down below. MGM. let's see. So, yuck. All right, we're going to draw a bearish fib on here. Yeah. I got nothing in there right now, Kevin, on it. I mean, I needed to break the 42 level first, retest and fail. And you're looking at only 39.32. So there's not that much movement opportunity there. So I'd be a little bit cautious on it, but that's the way I would play it if I were looking at it. I hope that helps, Kevin. SoFi, Paul is asking for this one. So let's go get a fib on SoFi. So very low price stock. You don't have a lot of room in here. I'm not a fan that the number one of the numbers 666 is what shows up on our 618. But get above that 887, retest and bounce. And we're looking at 10.5 as resistance, 77. No, we need a 118 in there. So you're looking at about 9.5 as resistance on SoFi. There you go. Kevin's also asking for Bros, BROS, short. Yeah, so it's been beaten up nicely. Very nicely. 28 to 24 is $4, $2. All right, so we're going to need to add OE. Okay. So I had to split that fibit in half yet again because 28 to 24 was too much. It was $4. We've only got 261. So retest to 28, drop down. We're looking at 26 on BROS to the downside. I like the call, the bearish call on it too, Kevin. I think that's the right way to go. Yeah, Robert, I agree. I liked being in an office when I was in manufacturing too. Right. Tripp said the same with globalization. You cannot necessarily trade it, but you better pay attention to it. All right. And then Brenda's asking for SPY. Get above the 448.5 retest and bounce. 453 is resistance. To the downside, nothing. There's too much mess in the road there. QQQ was her second one. Get above the 375.69 retest and bounce. Nothing to the downside. Apple. China's ban on Apple phones in the government made for an interesting conversation piece last week. We're showing nice weakness. I'm looking at 176 as support. I missed this one this morning. If we look at 179.40 on Apple, was that the right level? 179.40. Okay, so the line is right here. We go back to 1 minute chart. Whoa. Okay, so we broke the 179.5, 179.40 level. We got to a closing price of 179.17. We stretched back up here to a high of 179.34, 6 cents away. We failed. There was the opportunity to take it right there. Right? I missed it. Too busy with a million other things. All right. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. With that, make it a profitable day. Stay focused on the quest to becoming a great trader. Keep crushing it. And remember, go ahead and get yourself registered for Stop the BS. Don't miss that free training, folks. Once it's gone, it's gone. Lee just dropped that link back in there. Have a great day. God bless. And I will see you all at our next update. I will see those of you that are in POP tonight in the Mastering the Trade. Take care, everybody. See you then.